Zoe sprayed shaving cream into her hand, raising Blaine's razor towards his face. He'd asked her to help him shave off the whiskers he'd grown during his time in Mexico City, but never having shaved a man before, Zoe was nervous. "Am I doing this right?" she asked him tentatively. "Yes," Blaine praised. "Now just don't accidentally slit my throat with that razor, and you'll get a gold star." Immediately forgetting her nervousness in the wake of his sarcasm, Zoe took the glob of shaving cream in her hand and smacked it into the center of Blaine's face, bursting into laughter at his look of surprise. The brilliant smile on Zoe's face blinded Blaine's eyes. How could he be annoyed if just a little prank could make her smile so happily? Of course, not being annoyed and not getting payback were two different things. Blaine reached out his hand and scraped some of the foam off his face before smacking it onto Zoe's nose in retaliation. She sputtered, but Zoe refused to admit defeat, promptly spraying a thick layer of foam onto his chin. She sat on the sink and laughed. "Now I know what you'll look like in your old age." As Zoe said this, Blaine snatched the shaving cream from Zoe's hands and sprayed it on her forehead so she looked like she had white hair. "And now I know what you'll look like as a little old lady." Zoe reached for the shaving cream can to retaliate, but Blaine raised it high over her head so she couldn't reach it. No you don't." Blaine smiled as she struggled to reach it. "Well, if you don't let me have it, I can't shave you," Zoe retorted, folding her arms defiantly. "Promise you're done first," Blaine ordered, raising his eyebrows. Zoe wished she'd thought to spray those arrogant eyebrows as well. "Okay, fine, I won't play with you anymore. Come closer, come over here so I can reach you." She smiled and waved the razor in her hand. Blaine obediently moved his chin towards Zoe. "Now stay still. If I cut you, I won't be held responsible." Zoe used her left hand to hold his cheek, while her right hand held the razor as she slowly moved it under his chin. Her every movement was cautious, as if she feared that she would injure him. As Zoe worked, neither said anything for long moments, falling into a companionable silence. Once Zoe grew more comfortable with her task, she casually asked him, "I heard you had to walk nearly 2 hours a day back and forth in Mexico City to call me?" Zoe was trying to be nonchalant, but she was carefully observing Blaine's facial expressions. She was very curious about his answer. "I heard that while I was gone, you were unable to do anything well," Blaine quickly responded. "Who said that? That's nonsense!" Zoe flatly rejected the idea. "I have voicemail proof. Should I play it back for you? It's a little garbled, but I think you'll recognize the voice." The corner of Blaine's mouth curved into a smirk. "Don't!" Zoe curled her lips and grabbed Blaine's hand, which was reaching for his phone. Unexpectedly, she softened her tone, raised his hand, and gently rubbed her cheek against his palm. She said softly, "During that time, I was really afraid that you wouldn't come back." Zoe's eyes turned watery as she thought about how helpless and worried she had been while he was missing. She couldn't help but confess the words she had been holding in her heart. "I made a huge mistake at work that day. My boss was nice about it, just said to be more careful, but I felt terrible. However, I know why it happened. I couldn't think straight while you were missing. My mind was full of thoughts about where you were, how you were doing, and whether you were cold or hungry. At that moment, I was really afraid that I wouldn't ever see you again." As Zoe said this, she looked up at him tearfully. "Blaine, promise me in the future, don't do something so dangerous again, okay?" Blaine raised his eyebrows and looked at Zoe's teary face. There was a raging fire in his chest, burning with excitement. However, Blaine didn't allow himself to show it. He leaned closer to Zoe, looked her straight in the eye, and asked in a low voice, "What kind of status do you have to ask such a thing of me?" Although his tone was calm, the fervent anticipation in his eyes betrayed the deepest, truest thoughts in his heart. Zoe didn't know how to respond. She bit her lips, unconsciously trying to escape his question. She lowered her eyes and asked softly, "You don't want to agree?" With a single sentence, Blaine's resolute heart melted. This woman was destined to be his weakness. Blaine sighed silently and said, "I agree." No matter what they were to each other, He couldn't deny her. Zoe smiled through her tears. Just as she raised her head, a shadow fell over her. Suddenly, the front door buzzer sounded. Zoe was surprised. She snapped out of her daze and reached her hand up to stop Blaine. "Someone's here." He looked at her slightly flustered face and raised his eyebrow. "What are you scared of?" Zoe bit her lips nervously. Blaine tilted his head and looked at Zoe closely before reaching over to check the door monitor on the wall. His brow furrowed when he saw Sophia, who in a stroke of epic bad timing was currently standing outside. Zoe saw the concern on Blaine's face, so she followed his line of sight and saw Sophia standing there.
Hi, Zoe here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Rekindled Heartache now.